The stage is set, the curtains drawn, and the spotlight burns hot on a world where truth is a casualty of power. Let's rip the mask off right from the jump. The media, that supposed beacon of truth, is nothing but a marionette. Its strings yanked by the untouchable elite, like the British royal family. These so-called journalists wield the power to rewrite reality, turning the innocent into villains straight out of a twisted melodrama, while burying the guilty so deep you'd need a bloodhound and a miracle to unearth them. And who better to expose this grotesque charade than the royals themselves? Take Harry and Meghan Sussex, a couple who dared to break free from the gilded cage, no blood on their hands, no harm done. Yet the media, fueled by palace whispers, has painted them as public enemies, their every move a scandal. Meanwhile, Prince Andrew, their dirty little secret, tangled in a web of pedophilia and privilege, gets a free pass, his sins swept under the rug like dust in a forgotten attic. It's not just unfair. It's a sickening display of how power protects its own, no matter how vile. This is the story of a world where innocence is punished, guilt is shielded, and the truth is whatever the crown says it is. Let's start with Harry and Meghan, the couple who committed the ultimate sin, wanting a life of their own. They didn't rob a bank, didn't start a war, didn't even jaywalk. All they did was say enough to the suffocating royal machine, pack their bags, and head to California for a shot at something real. Harry, the soldier who served 2 tours in Afghanistan and founded the Invictus Games to lift up wounded veterans, isn't exactly a supervillain. Meghan, an actress who pivoted to activism, championing women's rights, mental health, and racial equality, seems like someone you'd root for. But the tabloid vultures saw blood in the water from day one. The moment Meghan Sussex stepped into the royal orbit, the headlines screamed diva, gold digger, home wrecker. They spun tales of her feuds with Kate Middleton, her bullying of palace staff, her demands that supposedly tore the family apart. It's all nonsense, but it's not random. The media's narrative dripped with racism, dog-whistle attacks on her biracial heritage, her American boldness, her refusal to play the demure royal wife. Remember the avocado toast scandal? The press crucified her for eating avocados tied to human rights abuses, as if she personally oppressed farmers, while ignoring the royals' own murky financial ties. Every gesture, every outfit, every word was twisted into a snub against the late Queen Elizabeth II. It's like the media had a script, and the palace was the writer, ensuring Meghan became the villain to distract from the real rot festering within. Harry's no saint, but the guy's been dragged through hell for standing by his wife and kids. His memoir Spare was a raw, messy look at life behind the palace walls, racism, betrayal, and a family more concerned with image than humanity. The media lost its mind, dissecting every page like it was a terrorist manifesto. Pundits called him ungrateful, disloyal, even unhinged, painting him as a traitor for spilling the tea on the monarchy's dysfunction. Why? Because he dared to expose the truth. The palace's complicity in leaking stories to the press, the cold shoulders to Meghan, the racial slurs whispered behind closed doors. The media didn't fact-check, they amplified. They turned Harry's pain into a circus, all to protect the royal brand. It's not about truth, it's about control. The royal family, with their army of PR spin doctors and backroom deals, feeds the media machine to keep the narrative tight. Harry and Meghan Sussex's crime, they represent everything the monarchy fears: independence, modernity, a life unbound by dusty traditions. So the innocent become guilty overnight, their reputations shredded for daring to want freedom. The public, fed a steady diet of outrage, eats it up, turning empathy into hate. Now let's flip the script to Prince Andrew, the royal family's walking disaster they can't seem to ditch. But boy, do they try to hide him. This isn't about a minor scandal or a bad day. This is a nightmare of Epstein-level depravity. Andrew's ties to Jeffrey Epstein, the convicted pedophile who ran a sex trafficking ring for the world's elite, aren't some casual acquaintance. Andrew partied with Epstein, stayed at his mansions in New York and Palm Beach, even after Epstein's 2008 conviction for soliciting prostitution from a minor. Photos show Andrew grinning like a fool next to Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, the socialite now serving 20 years for child sex trafficking. But it gets darker. Virginia Giuffre, one of Epstein's victims, accused Andrew of sexually assaulting her 3 times when she was 17, trafficked directly to him. She described it vividly, the sweaty Duke groping her in Epstein's homes in New York, London, and the Virgin Islands. Andrew's response? A train-wreck BBC interview in 2019, where he claimed he couldn't sweat due to a war-related condition, and threw out a bizarre alibi about a Pizza Express visit. It was laughable. Did the media tear into him like they do Meghan over a dress choice? Not a chance. The royals circled the wagons. Queen Elizabeth stripped Andrew of his military titles and patronages in 2022, but only after Giuffre sued him, a move that honestly reeked of damage control, not accountability. He settled out of court for a reported £12 million, with taxpayer money allegedly footing part of the bill, all without admitting guilt. By 2025, with the Epstein investigation closed and no mythical client list surfacing, Andrew's back to jet-setting, free as a bird. Historian Andrew Lowney's new book, The People's Prince, lays it bare allegations of an affair with Maxwell, shady financial deals tied to Epstein's network, even a physical altercation with Harry over slurs aimed at Meghan Sussex. Lowney paints Andrew as a corrupt, entitled fool, entangled in Epstein's web far deeper than admitted, with the royal family covering his tracks at every turn. Yet where's the daily outrage, the screaming headlines? They're nowhere, buried under royal influence and media complicity. Compare this to Harry and Meghan Sussex, and the hypocrisy is, honestly, just blinding. The media's assault on them is relentless, a coordinated hit job that amplifies every rumour, while at the same time soft-peddling Andrew's depravity. Polls show Andrew as one of the most despised royals, with approval ratings scraping the bottom, 3% in a 2024 YouGov survey, compared to Harry and Meghan Sussex's 26% and 24%. Yet, the tabloids treat Andrew like he's just a naughty uncle who needs a slap on the wrist, while Meghan Sussex's every breath is somehow a scandal. Her race, her background, her audacity to speak out, they're all weaponized against her, while Andrew's links to child exploitation are brushed off as poor judgment. Insiders whisper that the palace leaks dirt on Harry and Meghan Sussex to divert attention from Andrew's mess. Harry reportedly confronted Andrew over vile remarks about Meghan Sussex, leading to a blow-up the family scrambled to hush. But while Harry's painted as volatile or unstable, Andrew gets a pass. It's a grotesque double standard, rooted in racism, classism, and the monarchy's obsession with protecting its own. This isn't just unfair, it's honestly a perversion of justice. The royal family shields a man accused of heinous crimes, hiding him in plain sight with titles, money, and media blackouts, while crucifying Harry and Meghan Sussex for daring to break free. These two haven't hurt anyone. They're out there building a life away from the toxicity, raising their kids, and doing charity work through their Archewell Foundation. But the monarchy, that creaking relic, just can't stomach it. They protect predators like Andrew because he's blood, part of the firm, while outsiders like Meghan Sussex are thrown to the wolves. The media, complicit as ever, amplifies the bias, endless hate for the troublemakers, kid gloves for the real criminal. It's a masterclass in manipulation, a puppet show where the strings are pulled by power, not principle. But here's the amazing truth. The curtain's starting to fall. The world is waking up to this farce, and it's time to rewrite the script. Harry and Meghan Sussex, despite all the vitriol, are thriving, building a legacy of compassion, speaking out for those silenced, and proving that freedom is, honestly, worth fighting for. Their story isn't one of guilt, but of courage, a beacon for anyone trapped by systems that demand conformity over humanity. Meanwhile, Andrew's sins, though buried, are creeping into the light, thanks to voices like Giuffre's and writers like Lowney, who refuse to let the truth die. The royal family's grip on the narrative is slipping, and with it, their untouchable aura. This isn't just about one couple or one disgraced prince. It's about a world where power no longer gets to rewrite reality. The innocent don't have to stay guilty. The guilty don't get to hide forever. Let's demand accountability, rip down the palace's lies, and build a future where truth isn't a puppet on strings. The stage is ours.